Fantastic Star Wars event, thanks to DK Publishing. This is about the third time they've been out here with their authors, and we're delighted to have them. I'm Barbara Chung, Head of Children's Services here at the Dove Library, and we are going to do a couple of things this afternoon. We are going to have an interview of our authors by James Floyd, aka Jawa James, and then there will be a trivia game. So we're going to do the interview first and get you guys all psyched up, and then our wonderful authors, Bray and Tricia Barr, will be doing the trivia game, and there's some cool prizes, so please stick around. So, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Jawa James, who will be answering some questions. Thank
you. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? All right. Who's excited for Star Wars? All right. That's what we like to see. Who's excited to read this ultimate Star Wars book?
Woo!
Who thinks that it really is the ultimate? How many of you have picked it up?
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy, huh? Well, why don't we talk about the book a little bit? How is the book organized?
Ultimate Star Wars is organized in the order that you actually watch the movies and the TV shows. So who here has seen all 6 Star Wars movies? Raise your hand. Most of you.
Impressive.
Yeah. And who's seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars? Have you seen both series? The Gandhi 2D series and the 3D series? And who's seen Star Wars Rebels?
Woo!
That's great. So we've got a lot of Star Wars fans in here. But our book is organized in the same order that the movies and the TV shows are. So you start with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and then you go on to Attack of the Clones, and the Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith, and Rebels, and A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And within the book, you can follow along, and you can meet all the characters that are in the movies and the TV show in the book, and you find them in the same order that when you're watching. And it's divided, we have one section for characters, and one section for planets, one section for ships, and another section for blasters.
All right.
The important stuff.
The important stuff.
You have anything to add, Tricia?
Just that there's also creatures in the characters section, which is really important, and it helps, especially if you can't remember everything that a character might have been in. You can go find out what planet they're from, what episode, if they were in the Clone Wars and in the movies, you can figure out where to find them, and maybe piece together some of their history, because it is a large universe. So, and if you're just to Star Wars, it's a great place to start, or to give your friend to get them started.
Yeah, and one of the cool things is because it's organized this way, if you don't know a character's name, you can just look up, oh, I know what movie they're in, so you turn to that section of the book, and then there they are, and there's their name. So that way you can learn stuff without even having to know what their name is, which if you look in like a normal encyclopedia, if you don't know what their name is, you're never going to find them. So I think this is really handy for people to just dive into Star Wars. How did this book project come about? How did you guys get involved with it?
Well, how I got involved in it was I was the last author added in, and I had been trying to get some work with DK Publishing. I had been blogging and writing for Star Wars Insider magazine. Does anybody get Star Wars Insider magazine? Yay! So you might have seen my pieces in there. I do some stuff on the hero's journey. And then they say, well, how would you like to help work on this book, the ultimate Star Wars book? And I was like, yeah, that's the place to start. If you're going to start writing, that's where to do it. So all the way they were going to lay it out had been decided when the authors came in, essentially. So we were working on filling in those pieces as they wanted them. And then I had the honor of breaking down what the key moments would be that are some of these in between sections that sort of give you the the thematic beats of the Star Wars universe. So I had to go through the whole story and figure out what was important to Star Wars, and then all of the authors ended up writing those pieces. So that was fun.
And this is my third book for the Star Wars universe. My first book is called What Makes a Monster? And it's about all the monsters and the alien creatures that are in all 6 Star Wars movies. And my second book is called Star Wars Rebels, the Visual Guide. And it tells you all of everything you need to know about Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. So this is the third book that I've been asked to do for the publisher. And one of the cool things that this book does is it gets you prepared for something that's coming at the end of the year.
What's happening?
Can anybody tell me what's happening? How about you?
Episode 7.
Yeah, very good. Star Wars Episode 7, the next movie, is coming out at the end of this year in December. So what our book does is it tells you everything you need to know about what's happened up till now in Star Wars, so you can get ready. When you watch that movie in December, just before Christmas, you'll be ready for it. You'll know everything you need to know.
So what are some of the coolest sections that you each got to write in this book? Maybe you can hold them up if you can find them. Or that way everyone can turn along in the book.
Here's one of my favorites.
What page is that?
That is page 99 with Savage Opress from the Clone Wars. Anybody know who he is? Yeah. He's one of the bad guys. I really like him though, and I liked his name. And then also the Night Sisters were on that page. It's just a beautiful layout. Greedo is on that page. He was in the Clone Wars as well as A New Hope. So that was one of my favorite things to just break down.
Show us the cover of the.
Can anybody tell me who this character is on the front here?
Stormtrooper.
Very good. Yeah, that's a stormtrooper. Do we have any stormtroopers outside?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
2.
Two.
One's a sand trooper. One's a scout trooper. One's a AT-AT driver.
They're
We got all
experts
kinds of
already.
Imperials out there.
Oh, here you go. Great.
Okay, this is one of my favorite pages.
What
from
page is
the
that?
book. This is from Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, but what page is it so we can turn to it?
127.
127. Okay.
Can anybody tell me who this guy is here? You can just yell it out.
Inquisitor.
Very good. And who's this guy?
Zara Leonis.
Very good, James. And then this guy's a little small, off in the bottom left-hand corner.
Hammerhead.
Yeah, he's a hammerhead. Very good. Does anybody know his name?
Darth Maul.
No, not Darth Maul. Anybody else?
He's old.
What's his name? Do you know? Oh, I heard it. Who said that? Very good. Yeah, that's old Joe. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pages because I love Star Wars Rebels. And if you didn't know, the new season is coming this summer. There will be new cartoons on Disney XD.
Yay! So there should be more cheering for that. There we go. So one of the books you wrote previously was about different monsters in Star Wars. So did you write some of the different creature articles as well?
Yeah, in this, I wrote about a lot of monsters. I wrote about the Rancor and the Wampa and the Sarlacc and Fearnox and all kinds of creatures. You're going to find monsters from every movie and every animated TV show in this book.
Tricia, one of the sections you worked on was on one of the most famous ships in the galaxy. Do you want to tell us more about writing that section?
Did you guys see the teaser trailer, the new one? What's the name of that ship that's in the teaser trailer? Just shout it out. Millennium Falcon, right? I got to write the Millennium Falcon section. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, do you guys know, does anybody know what other type of ships were in the teaser trailer?
TIE fighter.
And yes, there was other types of ships too.
X-wing.
Yeah, X-Wings. I got to write the section with Red 5. Do you know, anybody know who owns Red 5?
Luke Skywalker.
Wow, really good. I don't know, trivia may be hard. We may not get anybody out on this one. And then also, do you guys know what type of ships were, there's a crashed ship in the teaser trailer?
Yeah.
How about back there? Two? What were they? What were they? You know what type of ships were crashed?
They were an X-wing and a Star Destroyer.
Very good, very good. Most impressive.
Yeah. So, what did you get to write anything new about the Millennium Falcon that we hadn't heard before?
Not necessarily new, but I got to remind people that she might have a mind of her own with her 3 droid brains and sometimes 3 brains. That sometimes she might do things that she wants to do, and so that was kind of fun to remind people that she has a personality.
And Adam, do you have a favorite ship that you want to talk about?
My favorite ship is the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. And the Ghost is very similar to the Millennium Falcon, but can anyone tell me who the pilot of the Ghost is?
Hera.
Yep, that's right, that's Hera. But yeah, I like the Ghost because it goes around the galaxy and fighting the Empire.
Oh, and what's the name of the ship that's also with the Ghost?
Well, can anybody tell me what that ship is? Yeah, very good.
Nice.
You guys know everything.
Yeah, next time we'll get them to help with it.
I know, we're out of a job.
So this is a book that actually 4 people worked on. Can you talk a little bit about your other authors and then what some of the interesting parts of working with 4 people on one single book might be?
Right. We, as James said, we had 4 people working on the book. There was, because the book is so large, it's really difficult for one person to do by themselves. So we had myself, I'm Adam, and we had Tricia, and we had 2 other guys working with us. One was named Ryder, and the other was named Dan. And we all took different sections of the book, depending on what part of Star Wars that we liked the best. I worked on Rebels and a little bit of Star Wars A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. And Tricia can tell you which part she worked on.
I worked on the Clone Wars mostly. I also got to write Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker and General Grievous. Does everybody know who General Grievous is? Is General Grievous a robot or a cyborg?
He's a robot.
A cyborg.
Looks like a cat robot.
I also got to write about in the Clone Wars the Zillo Beast. Does anybody know who the Zillo Beast is? Yeah. One of my favorite creatures. And yeah, the Millennium Falcon, I think that made my whole day.
So when you guys were writing, how would you communicate with the other authors if you had to bounce ideas or say, if you're going to write about this in one of the little breakout sections about the themes, where do we want to talk about this with the character or the technology?
Most of the work was done through the editors. We would communicate with the editors if we had a question, and occasionally if it was a question that was relevant to all the authors, we would send the question with the courtesy copy to everybody, but really we were writing, they had already broken it down and we were just writing what they needed us to write. So I know there were a few times just managing, you didn't want to conflict with pictures, so I might be writing a section that has Dagobah in it as a setting, or someone might be writing about Yoda, or Red 5 was in Dagobah, so trying to make sure that the images were not conflicting.
Well, that's a challenge to make sure that every picture is unique and tells part of the story.
Yeah, and then we had all our pretty pictures in, and then we did the key moments, and you realize that some of those key moments were the ones you used for your pictures in your character, and so they needed to swap out again.
So this book covers the TV shows, the movies. Does it cover anything else that we might want to look at?
Yeah, there's also a couple of other things in this book that are completely new. There are, let's see, last summer there were some new comics that came out about Darth Maul, and there's some characters from those comic books that are in this book. And there's a video game that has come out recently, a Star Wars game, and we've got a few characters in this book from that. So these are new things that haven't ever appeared before. And we have a couple of photos behind the scenes from Star Wars Episode 7 that are also in this book. So I think you'll find a little bit of information here and there that you're not going to get anywhere else, only in this book.
Are there any questions that any of the audience members might want? Just raise your hand and I'll call it. Okay, first the gentleman in front.
Following up on that, how much of episode 7 were you guys clued in on? Nothing at all?
Nothing.
Not going to find a little spoiler warning in the back of the book?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, right here in the second row.
How many pages?
How many pages?
320.
320 pages.
That's what it says on Amazon.
All right. Right there.
What kind of resource materials did you have at your disposal, aside from the films? Like, it's not mentioned in the films that the Falcon has 3 droid brains. So where's that coming from?
Right. Well, we, for the most part, had whatever resource materials we had on our own. So I've got an extensive library of formal reference books and novels and comics and the movies, and as well Lucasfilm to ask if I had questions. Your question touches on the fact that there used to be what we called an expanded universe. And that included the former Star Wars novels and comics and video games. And last summer, Lucasfilm kind of set a lot of that off to the side and rebranded it, calling it Legends. And so Lucasfilm has decided that moving forward, that it's just the 6 movies and the 2 TV shows, and anything new from here on out that's considered canon, that's considered the true story. However, the legends are still there. They're like in real life. A legend may have some truth to it, or it may just be a made-up story. But so that material is still there to be drawn on with Lucasfilm and Disney's approval. So there are details like that here and there throughout the book that may have their origins in a comic or a novel. Because it's really hard, as our co-author wrote at the beginning of the book, you really can't talk about Star Wars without some of the details that aren't in the movies. Like there's various characters. If I can find his introduction, can you think of some of the things that he talked about that never appear? Like the name Ewoks. That word is never actually used in the movies. That's something we know from outside. There's so many character names of species and locations that didn't appear in the movies, but we know that from the expanded universe. So those things are still there to draw from in new books and in new projects about Star Wars.
Are there any more questions? back in the front.
One more. So then this whole book does have the canon stamp of approval then?
Yep, this is canon, and actually a lot of folks at Lucasfilm have talked about how they keep this book on their desk and use it as a reference material when they're working on official Star Wars projects. So.
I know what the Ewoks were named after. The Ewoks, and never really tried.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of real world references in naming them. Yep.
How long
Is the Yoda Chronicles, the Lego Star Wars Yoda Chronicles in this book?
No, it is not in this book. Well, I think there were two
Okay.
questions. Oh, how long did it take to write? For us, it was about 2 months to write it. When they said go, we had about 2 months to get it written so that they could get it checked and out here for everyone to read.
So that's 2 months times 4 people.
Yeah, 2 months, and that was all day and night, and all day and night, 8 days a week for 32 hours. And it's really, you can't complain about, oh, I have to watch the movies to do research, so that's what we were doing. Most of this information is from, just going back and watching the shows and making sure that you remember it like you did.
So you guys got paid to watch Star Wars over and over again.
Yeah, we can say that, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. Okay, right there in the corner.
He has the Luke Star Wars costume.
Yay.
We got someone in the blue costume. Great. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. Should we move on? Wait, right here in the front.
How many kid characters are there in the Star Wars universe?
Kid characters?
Under the age of 18. If you see a lot of kids here, how many Star Wars characters are there? What
Kidster.
their ages?
Kidster,
Kidster.
Anakin,
Wall.
Wall, Ezra.
Amy and Seek.
Kid from the end of 3.
There's that one that lives on Diego.
There's quite a few, but man, that's a tough question.
Good question, yeah.
There's little Luke and Leia.
Yeah, baby Luke and Leia,
Whole mess of younglings.
Yeah, all those.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Right.
I've erased that from my mind.
Yeah, we're gonna pause that scene. You don't need to know anything about that, okay?
Well, shall we move on to do some trivia for some cool prizes?
Yeah.
So if you guys want to do Star Wars trivia, you can line up. We'll have you line up over there. We'll bring 6 up.